Ah, yes. Welcome to the Pohl Position episode number 2. I am your host, Jack Pohl, and I am so happy to be with you here on WDTN Plus. You know, we're just getting started with this streaming app. We're going to try a bunch of fun, different things here on the Pohl Position. Most importantly, we want your feedback, and I want to read your emails on the air. Keep them clean. Keep them with some form of dignity. But there you see, it's right there, Pohl Position at WDTN.com. Email me with your thoughts on the sports world or other things in general. In fact, I'm going to bring in our operations manager here at WDTN, Josh Ames. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Nice to have you here on the Pohl Position. We're super excited to have it. So, Josh, I want to start the Pohl Position today with one of the stories that's floating around on 2 News right now. We are on July 1st as of this recording, so people know what I'm talking about and the time frame we're in. We're in the height of the summer. We just went through a heat wave and a bunch of rain, and now we're in the month of July, and this is when summer hits its stride, and nothing could be better for the summer than getting a story about a bear on the loose in Greene County. I mean, these are my favorite types of summer stories. And I'll say this, Josh, that the neat part about this story is people are having fun with it. On social media, you see the bear shopping at Aldi or hanging out at Speedway or walking down I saw the bear was hitchhiking down a road post. I mean, these are really funny pictures, and people are having a good time with it. Yellow Springs police have even given him a name, Mosey.
Do you think it's one or more than bear? I mean, that's a lot of travel.
It feels like the Bigfoot question. Well, Ohio, I guess there's been Bigfoot sightings in Ohio, but when I think of, maybe we just don't get Bigfoot. Instead, we get this. It's a black bear, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's all you think it's more than one.
I don't know. I mean, it's been around all the communities in Dayton. I mean, we even have a newsroom lion here that shows up every now and then. It's a newsroom lion, and it's spotted all over. It's spotted in the OBS system today.
The 2 News lion. There's a tight shot for you. Oh boy, I tell you what, I'd rather have the black bear in Greene County, Mosey. So it brings me to, we've had some other great stories like this through the years. And I think, we live in a pretty stressful world at times. And a lot of the things we deal with, maybe most of the things we deal with, are of a very serious nature. And that means so much to so many people. So every once in a while, when you get a story like this black bear roaming through Greene County, hasn't hurt anybody. He's just going around. Maybe he's gotten into a few garbage cans. I don't know. I mean, all I see is he's shopping at Aldi and getting a big gulp from Speedway. So good for him. But it reminds me, this I believe might have been last year. Remember the alligator?
Yeah, they found in the creek.
Wasn't it just a piece of wood?
Right. I mean,
but that story blew up, and it was covered. It wasn't just us. I did a quick Google search last night, and it was down to Cincinnati TV stations ran it. The newspapers ran it. Everybody thought we had this alligator, like we were some bee monster movie getting ready to happen here in the Miami Valley.
Now, where do you think the bear came from? Do you think it's from the area? Do you think it's from Tennessee? Do you think it's from somebody's house? It got loose? I mean, is somebody missing a bear?
Well, when you think about things like that, I don't know. Or is it maybe he got lost somehow? But I don't think they transport bears. And I've heard of all sorts of crazy different types of people having pets, whether it be exotic snakes or alligators, which we talked about, pigs and all sorts of weird things. Your parents had you as an exotic weird pet.
Well,
but
we could go back to
that. But that's a good question, John. With the WDTN lion
is
Are you
roaming
sure that's
around.
not a tiger?
It may be a tiger.
I
Which
think
one's has stripe?
That would be a tiger, like a Bengal tiger.
Okay, we like the Bengals here, though.
See, now that I don't cover the Bengals, the next Bengal game I go to, I'll be going to as a fan. So maybe I'll. No, I'm not wearing that.
I got a tail from when we covered the Dragons Bengals game. Remember, they were handing out tails. You really liked the tail.
People old enough to remember, and it wasn't that long ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago. Josh here, who you see on your screen right now, used to go to Operation Football games known as the Goof Man, and you would throw out footballs and
T-shirts,
and you'd run up and down the field with the team's flags.
That was when I was skinnier. There's not a lot.
Little skinnier. But so you're not foreign to being a mascot. back to our original thing before we get too off topic, though. I could have sworn years ago there was another alligator that was in the Great Miami River, and we had a reporter at the time. His name was Pohl Moses, and he did some very tongue-in-cheek but played it very straight story on trying to capture this beast, and it was absolutely hilarious. Now, that was never debunked, but like I said, that was a long time ago. I think last year, they even had pictures of that alligator.
Right, and it was a piece of wood.
And it was a
Now, there was at one time a guy in Greene County, probably 10, 15 years ago, that had pet bears, and there was a big court
So
case.
wait, he did have pet bears.
He had a whole pet zoo of bears, and him and the city
Yeah,
had to go to court, and he ended up, I think, having to give them away. So the bears didn't come from that property.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say, and they've talked about that. We talked about this on air with on 2 News. If you see the bear, don't go up to it. I mean, we're making him out to be friendly with all these stories, and we're all having a lot of fun with it. But if you actually saw the black bear, if he's going one way, be going the other, and then just call your local police department. I mean, do the best you can to get a picture and send it in to us at WDTN. We'd like to see
Are you
it.
supposed to run from bears? I thought that you were supposed to stand still.
You can stand. I would gently walk away. You want to hear a great story? This is a true story. My dad, here's the problem. I was the youngest of 8, and and the 2 ahead of me were 2 girls. They were Mary Lisa and Jimmy's my real name. So the other boys were on the top shelf. I had an oldest sister, and then it was 4 boys, and then it was 2 girls and me. So whenever the boys did something, I never made the cut. It was the boys are going camping.
That's harsh.
And Mary, Lisa, Jimmy are staying home. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, aren't I? The boys are going to the baseball game. Mary, Lisa, Jimmy are staying home. So it was terrible. But anyway, here's one time that paid off for me, that my dad and my brothers went on a camping trip in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and they forgot to hang their food, and a bear attacked them. He didn't attack them. But my dad tells the story. My late father would tell the story about how they were all laying in their sleeping bags, nobody moving a muscle. They could hear the bear sniffing like within inches of them, just outside the tent, and they were thankful that they didn't have any food inside the tent. But they literally had puncture marks in the canteens and tore the whole place apart. It was truly crazy. So hopefully we don't lead to anything like that with our Greene County. Now, what do you think of the name Mosey for the Greene County?
I mean, I guess it's moseying around. I mean,
said that on the air last
what else?
night.
I mean, I guess we could have a contest.
That's a good idea. Send in to the Pohl Position. Get it there. Here, I'm going to put that back up on the screen. Send it in to the Pohl Position at WDTN.com. It might be long after the fact. Do you like the name Mosey? And if not, give us your name. Mosey the Bear, though, I got to admit, Josh, I'm not totally against it at all. I mean, it sounds okay.
But now getting back to sports, where do you rank the Bears in your favorite franchise?
Well,
like NFL franchise.
I will say that NFL, somewhere probably in the middle.
Okay.
They're not. I don't hate them.
Well,
I don't like them.
You're 20 years older than me, so you remember them in
I
heyday.
remember William Refrigerator Perry. I remember when the Dolphins beat them on Monday Night Football, so Miami could secure their only undefeated season. I remember all of that. Jim McMahon and the Super Bowl Shuffle. And,
oh, wow. He's a crazy man.
Yeah, so I remember all of that stuff. So, yeah, you know what's weird, though? Other than the Polar Bears, the Northridge Polar Bears, how many teams, Josh, do we have in the Miami Valley that are named the Bears?
Is there? I know Northridge.
I just said that. And they're the Polar Bears. They don't go by just the Bears, which one of the best mascots in the Miami Valley. The Anna Rocket.
I love the Rocket.
And the Polar Bear looks good. I mean, a lot of them are pretty good, but those 2 stick out, maybe just because they're a little more unique than the others.
Well, and that just shows how ironic it is to see a bear in this area. I mean, this is the first one I recall.
It's so well, hopefully this will be a fun story to get us through the summer. And like I said, it's always good to have a story that stays alive like that, where it gets a new sighting, a new police department does something, people come up with more fun things, and it is a much needed lightheartedness. I mean, much like
whoa, we almost had a catastrophe.
Much like the WDTN tiger. That is a tiger, not a lion.
Or is it cheetah?
I don't think no.
Cheetahs
A tiger
have
has
spots,
stripes.
right?
Yeah, cheetah's spot. You do not know the animal kingdom. In fact, I'm a little nervous if you even know what that bear looks like.
I don't want to find out.
So you're going to get Josh Ames on this show with a thing that we will call polar opposites. We're going to do that here in just a few minutes once we take a break. We have totally gotten off topic today, but I thought it was so interesting and so fun that we could do a story on that bear, and hopefully it doesn't end in any catastrophe. You know, here we are talking about how great it is, and the next thing you know,
I mean, you don't hear a lot of bear attacks. It's not like a shark.
No, and most of the time they don't attack people, but they attack, they may attack your campsite, or if you leave food out, or if you're holding food, or if they feel threatened. But you're right, you're supposed to just stand there. And part of my dad's story, getting back to that, I just now remembered this. He didn't know anything. This was his first time. So the bear comes back the next morning while they're looking for everything. He wanted breakfast, I get it. He had his late night snack. My dad had a frying pan and a spoon, and as the bear came, he bang, 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 just hits that frying pan and the with the spoon. It makes this noise. The bear stands up on two
like
legs,
in the movies,
just
right?
like in a movie, like Grizzly from the 1970s, and then the bear turned around and got out of there. I'm not going to mess with these guys. It's not worth it. So anyway, that's how it goes. But still pretty exciting stuff. That must mean we got to take a break.
Tell that audio guy to turn that down. About blew my eardrum.
Now, there you go. We're learning it. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Pohl Position. More to come, including polar opposites. We're going to have that for you when we come back from the break. This is WDTN Plus. Thanks for downloading the app and streaming this very program. We're coming right back. And welcome back to the Pohl Position, episode number 2. I'm your host, Jack Pohl. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Pohl Position, a lighthearted, fun look at sports and really everything else in the world, as we have proven this afternoon with our talk about the Greene County black bear that has been on the loose here in the summer of 2025. And it has been a fun story. They have named him Mosey, but I'm curious if you don't like that name, or if you do, let me know. But if you don't like it and think it should be something else, maybe a little more Miami Valley related, please let me know at Pohl Position at WDTN.com. Now, I'm joined this afternoon in episode 2 by our operations manager here at WDTN. That is Josh Ames. And Josh, you and I are going to do something this year. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and start this, with this. And maybe I'll save my original topic later and I can finish with a final thought. But we do a little something that we call polar opposites. And it's super fun that we do that. And there it is, Josh Ames, polar opposites. And we talk about things. Josh, how long have you and I worked together?
It's been 25 years. I started as your intern at WDTN.
Oh, wow.
And then worked my way up, and now we're basically best friends. I'm fatty, skinny. He's old. I'm young. I have good hair. He has gray hair. Everything we do.
I have good gray hair.
Yeah, and a beard. He has
hair.
a good beard, and I don't have a. I mean, basically.
No, and we don't want facial hair on Josh, so we'll say. So we've known each other a long time. We've had agreements and disagreements like any long-term friendship, but it always ends up in a good place. But I do want to talk a little bit. Our first topic on the polar opposites is going to be college football, and in particular, Ohio State and their schedule. And my problem with football, college sports, for forever, and I love college sports. Let me just say this first. I absolutely love college sports. I do not have a problem with college sports. There's nothing better than going to an Ohio State game. It has a different feel, a different energy. I watch college football on Saturday. My favorite part is watching games until 2 in the morning. I love watching those West Coast games. Any game I can watch, I certainly enjoy. But when you're talking about winning championships and earning it and that sort of thing, well, here's my problem with Ohio State, or with all of college football, is that the schedule is, A, too easy. There should be an independent scheduler because these teams just they don't play very tough schedules. I mean, last year the Buckeyes didn't play a meaningful game until October. That's ridiculous. You don't get that in the NFL.
Well, but the NFL has preseason.
Well, then make a preseason for college and don't sell it as the main course if it's just a snack.
But if you're calling it preseason, but if you're the college, and to make money, if it's a preseason game,
it's not about the money. It's about the money.
Are they going to be able to sell a ticket for $200 to a preseason game against Miami
so
of
what
Ohio.
you're saying is you're justifying them ripping off the fan. I think most fans, I think I'm in the minority, but I still think it's wrong. I think most fans are like, yeah, I want to go see him play Bowling Green. I want to see 5 touchdowns. I want to see, a guy go off for 250 yards rushing. I totally get that. So, maybe, but in the grand scheme of things for, the whole season, I mean, with the expanded playoffs now, when you don't play anyone else that gives you any realistic chance of losing, it's not good because you can lose to Oregon, you can lose to Michigan at home.
That was a bad loss.
Home,
bad loss. I was on the
you
Ryan.
do not win the Big Ten. You don't even play in the Big Ten championship game, and yet you get into the playoffs. So you tell me, who cares? I mean, who cares if you're playing, whoever? As long as you beat the crappy teams that we all know you're going to beat, you're going to make the playoffs. And maybe you can't get tripped up 3 times, and maybe you could. I don't know. Maybe I don't think
there's that expansion of a 16-team playoff,
which will make it even so. Well, what are your thoughts? I mean, am I off? I mean, I thought this was going to be polar opposites, but if you agree with me because that's what this, that's what this segment's going to be about. But I still love the games. It's still fun. I'm sorry, but I'm not canceling plans to see Ohio State play, Middle Tennessee State, or Ohio State play Akron, or Ohio State play one of these other cupcakes. Heck, I don't even know if I would cancel plans for them to play Purdue. The Big Ten is very top heavy. So when you're still only getting 2, maybe we'll say 3 Big Ten games a year and 1 out of conference Big Ten a year, I mean, that's 4. That gives you 8 or 9 cupcakes that you're playing, or double digit favorites. I mean, here they are against Marshall. This was.
But Marshall did beat Notre Dame, 2 years ago? I mean, it was supposed to be a blowout, and Marshall went into...
Things do happen, but let's be honest.
I mean, that's the best part about college football is...
It's their still... Yeah, but I put that under winning the lottery. Hey, people win the lottery all the time.
True.
Do you think it's a fair contest?
True.
Of course not. If things happen in bizarre situations, but generally speaking, Ohio State's guaranteed to win, just show up. I mean, your talent's that much better.
Right.
And so I just wish, like in the NFL, who cares if the Bengals would have gotten to the playoffs last year at 9-8? They would have earned it. They won their last 5 games. It was exciting, and things were great. And no one would have been saying, man, that stunk. We lost 8 games. They'd be excited we were in the playoffs.
Right.
College football is very different, where you have to have a gaudy record to earn any respect.
Correct.
And when you break it down, I don't see that gaudy record even being earned most of the time. When you're beating MAC schools and nobody schools and lower tier Big Ten schools, which there's a bunch. There's a bunch. I mean,
yes.
even that, and it's worse. That number's growing because Wisconsin's program has completely dropped off. But I guess Illinois has gotten better. Penn State
is maybe number 1 in the country.
They might be number 1, and we'll see. Well, James Franklin can't, at least he won't be playing a number 1 team.
Yeah.
So maybe if he's number 1, he'll never have to play a number 1 team.
Right.
so maybe he'll win all the big games.
Yeah, Ohio State played the toughest 4-game schedule you're probably going to see. I mean, they played Tennessee, who was supposed to come up here.
That's Tennessee, yes.
And then they played who'd they play? Oregon.
Oregon, who they
whipped the
eventually
brakes off.
Yeah. Now the playoffs are different. I don't have the playoffs are. I do think they get the best teams. I just think, why not reward the fan? And when things like that happened last year, they see what happened to Ohio State. Why would anyone schedule a tough game?
Well, that's the problem now.
That's why you need an independent schedule. They should do 2 preseason games. Trust me, people will pay full price, and maybe you count them as a half win in the real. So you give them some, you do something, or you do a point system or something like that. But they shouldn't,
Well, but it's also too about the TV money. I mean, look at the big
right, and they don't want the word
the Ohio State Texas game. There was, I think, something in Ohio law was trying to be passed where Ohio State couldn't play noon games anymore.
Right? No, some guy was trying. I mean, I think that was kind of funny, tongue in cheek, but yeah.
When I was growing up, noon was the time. The noon or 3:30.
Right, and I never complained. Now I do like a primetime game.
Yes,
and so it's a little different when it comes.
But
to
it
that.
also changes atmosphere for the away team.
It does. When Ohio State, I don't think Ohio State did it, but I know that Oregon hosted some big noon games which is 9 a.m.
Right.
their time.
And
That's
half the students aren't out of bed.
Right. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's a stupid thing in general. But, my opinion would be, at some point, maybe it's just the Big Ten and the SEC. I guess there are other good teams in, in some of the other conference, but like AC, you have Clemson out there. Yeah, I guess you couldn't do that, but maybe have the 4 major conferences because the Pac-12, there's no great teams in there. They're not going to win it. There's nobody
Is there
in that.
enough teams to do that?
They just, and then you just play it like the NFL. Those would be the 4 divisions. And then you play teams from, and then you just make a rotating schedule.
That's a great idea.
So I mean
But then what happens to the schools? Like your UConns. Where does Notre Dame go? I mean, they're not affiliated.
Well, see, I don't. Yeah, there's no way around it. But I wish there was something to incentivize bigger games. Now we're getting Ohio State. What they open up against Texas
at noon.
Yeah, and so. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, that's a great way to start. And then you get like a month off before they play anyone again.
Yeah, I think the next big game's Penn State.
Yeah, which is big, which is
and
good.
I think so. It'll be at the shoe.
I just college with and I've said I've been on board for NIL since before there was even NIL. I mean, I never understood how a coach could get paid millions and millions of dollars and a player not a penny when the only one winning games for the coach is the players.
And they were getting paid. I mean, look
they
at
were
the 30 for 30 SMU.
Oh, no. You're right. But my problem with it is that they were kind of like, it was a bad thing. This is amateurism and everything. And, one thing that's funny, though, is I've known, and we're just about out of time, but one thing I noticed which is funny is that so many people would say they don't like the NFL because all they do is pay for the money, or they don't like the NBA because all they do is play for it. College is way worse. These guys are leaving after a year. One guy last year left after 3 games. The UNLV quarterback didn't get the money he was promised. He's out the door. And who could blame him?
What's that?
Yes. Right. He left.
He wanted more money, and they said, "Yeah, we're not paying you."
These guys are at least in the NFL. You've got a contract. I mean, there's obviously still contract.
He's
still under contract.
Right.
He don't want to take his money. The Bengals are not in the wrong.
Right.
And that's a story for another time. But,
and me and you disagree on the NBA college basketball. I'd rather watch collge basketball.
I like that thing. What's that thing they do in the NBA?
They score.
That's
score.
right. I like it when they score.
But because there's no defense.
Whatever. The difference between the NBA and college, and I hate getting on tangents like this, is that
here we go.
NBA's a players' league and college is a coaches' league. And if you want to see 80 timeouts and telling guys when to dribble and the last 2 minutes of a game, last 2 hours, the college game's for you. You want to see players decided on the court, some high-flying action, then you watch the NBA. So they're both all in fact, college guys are making more than some of the pro guys. All right, I'm going to leave you on that.
This is what I wear when I disagree. That's our next polar opposite is NBA versus
it doesn't
college.
mean I don't like. Doesn't mean that I do not like college basketball. College basketball, another thing where their scheduling's a joke. That schedule's not in the NBA because it's all even, home and away, but whatever.
I like this music, by the way.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, it is good. Well, this was a fun episode of the Pohl Position with, there you see him there.
The newsroom cheetah.
No, it's a tiger.
Cheetah.
Does that look like a cheetah to you?
Maybe a little bit. It's yellow.
Yellow. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Pohl Position episode 2. We'll see you next time right here on WDTN Plus.